Um, you guys want to know an interesting story of what made me become a believer of Brock Purdy? I'll tell you guys what, man. If you guys were watching my YouTube channel or the beginning part of my channel, bro, you guys would have just said I was the biggest Brock Purdy hater, bro. You guys would have said, this guy is such a hater, bro. But what changed my tune? You know what really changed my tune? Was the more he played. But it took me some time, bro. Because when we first drafted Brock Purdy as the last pick of the draft, did I ever think of this guy playing on the football field? No, I never thought of it that way, dude. He was the last pick of the draft. This guy wasn't guaranteed a roster spot. I thought this guy would have been on our practice squad, if I'm being honest. And the more we started seeing this guy play, the more people started saying, oh, maybe this guy can be something. I just never thought of it that way, man. You know, when he got to play, bro, I said, it's a fluke. And then the more he plays, I'm like thinking, okay, can he prove it again? That was my critical part of him, you know? It's like, I like those feel-good stories, man, but can he actually be the real deal? That was where my question mark was, man. And I just kept doubting this kid for a while. And then the more I started watching him play, man, it came to a point to where I just couldn't do this anymore, man. I couldn't write him off, you know, because he kept proving me wrong all the time. And I had a lot of people who were in the same train as me, bro. They were just constantly bashing this guy. They were constantly bashing him to a point to where I just couldn't fuck with these guys no more, bro. I just couldn't. These guys just have no other reasons to fucking change the tune, bro. Like, once I've seen enough, I've seen enough. You know? If I'm wrong, I'm going to admit I'm wrong. And I will say, I was pretty wrong about Brock Purdy. I mean, I just never thought in my bingo card this guy would be our quarterback going forward. I never thought this guy was going to be a high-paid quarterback. I never thought this guy would take us to the Super Bowl. I just never thought he was going to maintain that success, you know? But now, even under the hard times last year, he's shown that he's still a good quarterback. So I feel like that's what made me start to believe in Brock Purdy. I mean, dude, look at his record. He's a winner. Look what he did at Iowa State. He's a winner. Everywhere this kid's went, he's a proven winner. So I just felt like when I was doubting him, I just wasn't sure about him. I just wasn't buying into the hype until I started seeing more of his tape. But then a lot of people kept saying, this kid's going to be the real deal. And then I saw a scout, a former scout, like, what's his name? Kelly, whatever his name is, Kelly, that one scout guy from the Jets. He had an article about Brock Purdy. He said this guy was going to be the real deal. And I just thought it was laughable back then. And he was right. He was definitely right, man. He was right on point. And then I started seeing more people hyping this kid. And it came to a point to where I was laughing about it, you know. I saw it on Twitter where I was just laughing about it because honestly, I was on the Trey Lance train. I was really on the Trey Lance train, bro. I was so into the Trey Lance. And I was so disappointed when we traded Trey Lance. But then it came to reality, bro, that Brock was the real deal. And a lot of you guys are going to say it wasn't a fair battle, bro. But in reality, if Kyle doesn't trust you, he's not going to play you. He trusted Brock Purdy, and that's what really matters, dude. That's what really matters is that Kyle Shanahan trusts you enough to play this offense, bro. He let Brock Purdy do more, so it came to that conclusion. And the more you started watching him, the more you had to believe this kid. So it's more than a feel-good story, okay? It's more like this guy has proven to be more than just that, you know? But it can be a Walt Disney movie, you know? It can be a Walt Disney movie for sure. Like if they ever wanted to make a Walt Disney movie called The Last Pick, that would be a damn good movie. That would be a movie that we could all watch one day. But I'm telling you, this is more than a story. This is a quarterback that's the last pick of the draft. Like, think about the last pick of the draft, bro. Think about being the last pick in a pickup game, bro. Like playing basketball or street football. And you end up being the best player. And next time they're going to pick you early on the team. So it's kind of one of those kind of good stories. But I think this is going to go on as a legendary story, dude. So I think the more you started realizing that he's not somebody you should doubt, bro, it's like it was wrong of me back then, but I wanted to see more. I was skeptical. So I had to just come to that point, bro. It came to that resolution to the point where I just couldn't doubt this kid no more. So I know there's still some people who don't believe in him, and I get it. You don't have to like him, but you got to realize, you got to admire the fact he wins, bro. That's what matters.